Yeah, hi there. These comments are for HG, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to pass the TOEFL IBT. You're also one of my students over at California State University, San Bernardino. So let's take a look at your reading. Actually, your response, your writing response to Integrated Writing Practice Test 4. So you say the lecture apparently reinforces the points illustrated in the reading passage. According to the reading passage, there are some false beliefs about disabled people. Meanwhile, the lecture contends a similar stand that society has some misconceptions about disabled people. I think you're in pretty good shape there. Let's take a look over at the actual here. So it looks like in the reading it says, research shows that society views anyone who cannot do those things as being different and often has false beliefs about these disabled people. So the lecture also agrees that these are false beliefs, right? Okay, let's go back to your task. So you say the lecture. Now, here's the key. If you start off discussing the lecture here and then the reading, and then you go to the reading here and the reading here, it's probably better to follow a similar format. You say the lecture uses to enhance the reading, and you wouldn't say that, by the way. You want to say the lecture supports the reading passage, in that disabled people will have some specific needs because of disability. But disability does not mean sick. You want to say does not mean being sick. Meanwhile, it is just the same as a statement in the reading that disabled people are sick. They have some illness or disease, which is a first false belief about disabled people. Now this here, you don't want to put a comma here because that ends up being what's called a comma splice. You can put a semicolon here or maybe put and in there and it might work. But I'm not exactly sure if you have the full connection here. I would say first, talk about the reading passage briefly and maybe 1 or 2 sentences, and then talk about the listening passage after that. Okay, and the next one you say, according to the reading passage, another false belief is that disabled people have a poor quality of life because they live in bad houses, have disease, you want to say have diseases, and no access to higher education. Likewise, the lecture states, I would say this, you might want to say, likewise, the lecture also agrees that this is a false belief. You know, something like that. You say advanced technology in the U.S. make disabled people easier to get a good quality of life. They can do most, you want to say, they can do most of what able-bodied people can do if they put their minds to it. So you're having quite a few language errors right in here. You say, for instance, the technology can be applied to a textbook to help disabled people. You want to say, to help disabled people get a higher education. Say, finally, the reading passage claims that disabled people should not be seen as and you want to say, not and, you can't say and in people. How about should not be seen as inspirational people when they go to work by using wheelchairs. And the lecture adopts to bolster, it's not going to work. You want to say, and the lecture bolsters the information in the reading passage by claiming, you want to say, by claiming that disabled people do not want to be seen as anybody, not anything, as anybody special because they just do what they can do for a happy life like normal people. All right, so let's go to the lecture for just a minute, make sure we're getting all the main points. Okay, you made this first point, you made your second point, and I think you made your third point. So overall, I think you have made the connections, I think, between the reading and the lecture. However, you do have some language use issues in there, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand what you're saying, so I don't think you'll score in the 4 range on this. So let's take a look at the next one we have. The response conveys an incomplete, inaccurate, or imprecise connection of the ideas. You have omitted at least one major key point. I think you're okay there. If you look under the rubrics here with grammar, your response contains language errors or expressions that make connections. Now, I don't think you're that bad. I'm going to put you in the 3 area here. I'm going to put you at 3.25 out of 5, or 21 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now, for the purposes of our class, let's see what we have here. Let me figure out what your grade is right now. Hold on a minute. So you got 3.25 on the integrated writing midterm exam. 3.25 is going to give you 79% on this particular assignment. All right, so what do you do now? I think a lot of your problems right now are more around your language use. So I would encourage you to continue to study in the grammar area of my course, especially focusing on the grammar lesson number 7. And one of the things you can do when you go to the website is work where it says grammatical sentences, and you can do some work there where it says run-ons, fragments, and comma splices. Especially comma splices. That seems to be a bit of a problem with your writing right now. All right?